Good morning, freedom fighters. It is 7:24 a.m. Alaska time, March 22nd, 2024. Some very unusual storms being developed off Key West. Key West is right here. Cuba is right here. I want to show y'all something here that I see interesting. See this blob of weather formations right here. Frequency waves majorly off Cuba. But watch how it stops. This shuts off. It's releasing it there and it just shuts off. You can actually see, it looks like a fog bank with a V there. That's the vessel. The vessel's so large that it can block the fog. Something's weird there anyhow. See how it's a V? You got to remember how big these ships are. Or the machine they're using is making the fog have a V there. That might be more of a better explanation. Something's changing the fog bank there. But see how it released it and turned it off? Well, I want to show you these vessels. I have pictures of them. And I can show you the technology they use. It's this fuel. They can burn these fuel tankers for hours on end without ending. There are hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel they can burn. But I want to show you NASA's test center for these devices. And they have them on trucks as well, as I showed in previous videos. Let me show you the one that NASA has. This is NASA's testing facility in Mississippi. They can produce rain with these clouds, as this reporter from BBC News will report. It's quite loud, so you might want to turn your volume down. But we're going to play it now.
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And, as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you! It's raining! That's unbelievable! Oh, NASA's playing God! It's making its own weather!
There is no natural, there's nothing clean about that. Any fuel you burn off is putting some sort of toxin out. Here, let me show you the land-based one they also have. I believe they have these in Mexico that produces our cloud formations. This goes over to the United States constantly. And here is the portable cloud maker here. It's quite loud as well.
7, 6, 5,
Be very, very
4,
quiet.
3,
I'm hunting rabbits.
fire.
So loud. Imagine what you could do with a few dozen of them. We see unreal activity in Mexico. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but all they need is tanker, a semi-tanker. You could burn this fuel for hours and create these cloud formations. Alright, I showed you how they make the clouds. They spray the stuff in the atmosphere to make clouds. They can do it from the ground or the ocean. Let me show you how they light the storms off. Stand by. Okay, warriors, we're going to let the scientists explain how they create storms with lasers by pumping material in the atmosphere. He never claims they're pumping material, but he calls it dust particles, which is their metals and chemicals they put out, like coal ash as well.
Never forget, this bill in 2001 referred to chemtrails as an exotic weapon. Again, this is H.A.A.R. stands for House of Representatives, H.A.A.R. 2977, okay? And this is about a bill to stop and restrict weapons in space. Scroll down, you will soon see exotic weapon systems such as electronic, psychotronic, and information weapons. 2. Chemtrails. 3. High altitude, ultra low frequency weapons, which is actually basically 5G like weapons, EMF weapons, more like 3G, 2G. Boom, laser weapons.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong.
Boom, laser weapons, strategic, theater, tactical, or extraterrestrial weapons, and chemical, biological, and environment and climate or tectonic weapons, which they have all of. This means they can make earthquakes, they can make hurricanes. This bill never passed. This was a House of Representatives trying to get the word out about this stuff. It's right here, plain to see. Look up these terms, look up these keywords, look up this bill, H.A.A.R.
Okay, guys, we're looking at ship tracker here. You can see some areas where those vessels, where that storm was putting out just a second ago. But look at this congregation of vessels. I can see what some of this stuff is. This is a drilling platform. I didn't realize they were drilling this far south in Louisiana. This is some pretty deep water. They can drill in any depth they want. They're floating rigs. A lot of concentration of equipment here, and these oil companies, they're definitely part of it. I mean, he's not going anywhere. Just supply vessels out here at 1 knots. I ain't saying they're not for the oil company, but are they part of the weather control? This is all oil company. I fish all this. It's amazing. The oil fields are incredible, but I don't know. I was just wondering if they're not helping this mess. This looks more like tankers out here releasing this material to me. Like forest fires in the ocean is not normal, you know what I mean, guys? Let me let it load here for a second. Okay, this is a few hours back. It's 6 a.m. Oh, load. Yeah, there it goes. See how it looks like forest fires in the Gulf of Mexico? But look, watch how they form again here. They just start pumping out of nowhere. Seems glitchy for some reason, but you can see how it just starts out of nowhere here. I just showed you where they just shut off earlier. I don't know why it ain't really doing that in that last bit. Let me let it load here. You'll see where it forms out of nothing here. Right there. It's like turning on those machines I just showed you, right? And we see all the vessels out here. Look how much frequency waves as well that's in this. Very distinct machine waves. This machine turned on. That's not gravity waves. It's not street clouds. It's not roll clouds. It's not being done by the wind. See what else we can find here for you. Stand by. We've crossed the pond, freedom fighters. We're off over the continent of Africa, or Morocco, I believe that's called. This very unusual looking to me. Look how the frequency waves are coming off right here. It's just like they got the machines turned on here, just like we've seen in the trucks. Clouds coming from nowhere. It could be mountaintops. I mean, I've seen mountaintops have reactions. But why would it have all these frequency waves? Powerful, pushing it. That's only 2 hours. It's not my longer loops. Usually it's longer, but that's a lot of material being pushed to the north here. They can create chaos up here by doing that. That looks like forest fires. Is Spain on fire? Somebody let me know if there's fires in Spain. For some reason this is smoking here. Truly terrifies me to know that they can use our laser technology against us that we created. My family built computer components for the first generation of space lasers in the 90s. They've been up there a very long time. Now they put them all in your video games. The new generation lasers are up there now. They put them in your video games and your movies. And people don't even believe they exist, but they show you the truth in your movies. Alright guys, commercial fishermen standing by. No matter what country we go in, it's being manipulated. Some of this looks fairly natural. See how it looks different? This looks somewhat natural compared to our mess. I mean, that down there did not look natural. This stuff in Florida doesn't look natural. Let it play one time for you before I let y'all go. They're just forming storms out of nothing. Clear skies and creating storms. It's not daytime heating. It's not very cold. I mean, we're very warm at 68 degrees. This isn't daytime heating, you know what I mean? It's lasers heating. Trillion-watt lasers. A trillion's a huge number for the few people that stand by as true warriors. But look how big a trillion is. That's how many years a trillion seconds is. A million seconds is 12 days. You can see how much power these billionaires have. That's actually 31 and a half years, I believe. A little bit longer than 12 days. Alright, commercial fishermen standing by. It's very important. Y'all realize we've been robbed. Trillion seconds is almost 32,000 years. So how in the world could it be a trillion-watt lasers that the scientists describe lighting these thunderstorms? That's why everything's so lined up anymore. You can see the material here being messed with by the machine. You can see it streaking. It makes dust particles. I mean, it makes it steam out. It's just ripples. It's just unusual weather. Commercial fishermen standing by. For the ones that still standing, watching this, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are true warriors. Commercial fisherman out.